Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Atari A to Z, a series of short playthroughs of Atari 8-bit games, some which I grew up with and some which are new to me. Today is one of the former. This is Master of the Lamps, a 1985 release from Activision and an early example of a music game. So one of the key figures behind this game was a guy called Russell Lieblich. He composed the music for it, and he was really fascinated by the idea of music and rhythm-oriented gameplay, and often experimented with that in his various works. He describes his soundtrack for Master of the Lamps as psychedelic rhythm and blues, which was entirely appropriate for the time, really. Although psychedelia is most commonly associated with the 1960s, there were a lot of computer programmers who were operating in the 1980s who were very interested in the idea of psychedelic music, prog rock, that sort of thing. Jeff Minter, who we've seen a few times on this series already, was very interested in that side of things, and evidently Russell Lieblich was as well. And Lieblich sadly passed away in 2005, but Master of the Lamps remains one of his most enduring works, and it's a truly beloved legacy. It's a real classic from the time period. So let's go play Master of the Lamps and honour the memory of Russell Lieblich. Okay, here we are with Master of the Lamps, with Activision with their slightly later logo than we've seen in some games previously. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous game. As with many games from the period, this is also a game that I've never really been all that good at. And this game actually also used to scare the crap out of me as a kid as well. I'm not entirely sure why, but it did. So let's see if I've resolved that particular trauma up until now. Master of the Lamps. Okay, so there are 3 different ways to play. You have the 7 trials, which is self-explanatory. The Throne Quest, which takes you through, I think, 3 lots of 7 trials, if I remember correctly, getting more difficult each time. And then Magic Carpet, which lets you go to a particular stage of your choice and just give it a go. And there are lots of stages, as you can see. Many, many stages. Anyway, let's do 7 trials, because that's the most straightforward way to play. So, here we go. We are the prince. Our father is dead. We have a big hammer. And there are genies infesting the palace. So, naturally, the only thing to do is to get on our magic carpet and fly through a bunch of diamonds. Now, this first level is almost insultingly easy. Almost insultingly easy, I say. It is insultingly easy because, look, I'm not doing anything. You just sit back and enjoy the music. And enjoy it some more. And a bit more. And a little bit more. We'll get there in the end. This is just the beginning of our journey. Just the beginning. So I guess in many ways this game is sort of almost as much interactive music video as it is game. And so this first stage is an opportunity for you to enjoy that aspect of it. So yeah, insultingly easy it may be. It does at least give you a chance to have a listen to the music, appreciate what it's doing. And then we are into the game proper. So what you do here is you whack a gong 3 times. As we all know, hitting a gong 3 times summons a genie. He will then place Simon with you. So, as those notes are descending, you then have to go and hit the appropriate gong to get rid of the genie, who will then bugger off behind a bunch more diamonds. And then you repeat the process. Right, so you will notice this time we have corners to go round. Ooh, exciting. Only left and right though. None of that pesky up and down stuff. I can't remember offhand how many different pieces of music there are in this, but it's certainly quite a lot. With the whole concept of it being based around music, I'm pretty sure that like a significant part of its development was putting as much music in it as possible. And obviously, since music generated using a sound chip is just programmed rather than recorded, you're only really limited by sort of the amount of memory the computer's got and how much space you've got on the disk to store the data for the music, I guess. Alright, time for Genie Simon once more. One of many games with a character who is not wearing any trousers. You may recall the very first Atari A to Z video featuring Aztec Challenge had a gentleman running along with no trousers on, and here we have genies with no trousers on. Because let's face it, if you're a genie, you don't need trousers. Because you're a genie, you can do whatever the hell you want. Right, this time we are going up and down. And one thing you might notice as you progress is that these sequences actually sync up quite nicely with the music. So it's not specifically designed as a rhythm game as such, it just sort of tends to work out that way. This specific piece of music here is one that's really stuck with me over the years for some reason. So like any time I'm going through a tunnel or like going down a water slide or something like that, I always think of that particular theme from Master of the Lamps. Pantsless Genie, do your worst. Oh yes, did I mention the prince is jet propelled? So if you press the fire button, he can atomic fart his way to the location he needs to be at. And that, obviously, is much quicker than walking. So if you've ever wanted to get to work a bit quicker, may I suggest using princely atomic fart powers. And onward! To the left, and the right, and the left, and the right, and the left. Oh no! And the up and down as well. Round and round. I hope you don't get motion sickness. Because if any Atari 8-bit game is going to give you motion sickness, it's this one. And I love it. Oh, it's just it's a really nice sort of relaxing rhythm to this. You're sort of bobbing around, sort of swinging back and forth to the music. It's not really an aspect that I kind of feel like I really appreciated when I was a kid, but it's definitely something I'm all about now. That was delightful. Come on, genie boy. Blue, you say. So on the Throne Quest mode, the way it makes things more difficult is on one of the stages you don't see the colours, and on another one you have to do it entirely by sound, so you don't even see the notes at all. So that obviously makes it a lot more difficult. But in this 7 Trials mode, all you've got to do is build that lamp. Another new piece of music. Don't think we've had a repeat yet. This one has very wide corners that you kind of have to turn quite early for. So that's a skill that you need to figure out. You need to understand just how much leeway you have for your turns. So basically 7 Trials mode is like almost like a training mode, in that it's taking you through the common patterns you'll come across in the Throne Quest mode and teaching you how to deal with them. Oh! Yeah, when they start flashing like that, that means you're just getting a little bit too far off course. And if you spend too long outside them, then you will lose. So yeah, all about learning to turn early. Okay, very nice. Come forth, Simon the Pantsless Genie. I have gongs to hit, and they have your name on. Blue. Fart, fart. The important thing in these sequences is not to panic, because yeah, you have plenty of time to get to the gong and hit it. So you've got to make sure you don't panic is the important thing. Otherwise you'll get yourself into a real mess. Right, next. Right, I reckon we're going to have it. Variable arcs going up and down this time. Yeah, certainly looks that way. So again, paying attention, making sure we turn early where necessary. Or dive and climb, I should say, rather than turning. This would be a great game to reimagine in VR, wouldn't it? Can you imagine? They don't even have to change it that much. They can just keep this sort of abstract aesthetic. And just flying through rings accompanied by cool music. Someone's probably done something similar already. Flying through rings accompanied by cool music sounds like something that someone would have definitely done with VR by this point. But, yeah, a modern-day Master of the Lamps reboot, that would be amazing. Make it happen, Activision. You won't make it happen because you're not listening. Also, you suck now. Oh, wrong way. There we go. On to number 13. I think we might be nearly there, you know. Because 7 trials, I guess that will be 14 stages. So 7 magic carpet stages and 7 gong ringing stages. Okay, so we're going to have to do a bit of both this time, aren't we? Up and down and side to side. With plenty of anticipating corners. Oh yeah, this is a bit more hectic. So this game came out for a few platforms. I think most notably the other platform was Commodore 64. From what I've read of discussions online, I haven't actually played the C64 version myself, but from what I've read of discussions online, it seems to be relatively commonly accepted that the Atari version actually has superior music. Which is quite a victory, because in many ways the Commodore SID chip was superior to the Atari chip in a lot of ways. But I just guess that the Atari version of this just made better use of the resources it had available to it. If the discussions I read are to be believed, obviously. Right. Is this it? Is this the end of our 7 trials? Look at all those notes. How will we ever manage those? Like this. And with the power of fart. And there we go. And he gets sucked into the lamp. And we win. Victory. There we go. So that is, well, that's 7 trials mode of Master of the Lamps. Obviously there is the Throne Quest mode as well, which is much more difficult than that. But, I mean, that gives you a good idea of how the whole game works. Because it's all variations on the theme, really. So anyway, that just leaves for me to say, as always, thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please help out the channel by leaving a like or a comment and subscribing. New episodes of Atari A to Z are on Tuesdays and Atari ST A to Z on Thursdays. Check out atariatoz.wordpress.com for a full archive. Do please also check out my other projects moegamer.net, where I explore Japanese and Japanese-inspired games from yesterday and today, and videopackgames.wordpress.com, which aims to catalogue the small but well-formed library of the Philips G7000 Videopack computer, also known as the Magnavox Odyssey 2. You can also support my work on Patreon or buy me a coffee. You can find links to do both down in the video description. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.